Okay, it's officially showtime. Hi, Coti.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. It's a long time coming, I guess.
Right? 6 months in the making.
It's been quite a ride, but I am so excited to finally be able to announce to the world that you have decided to switch your business over to eXp. So why don't we start with who is Coti Brown? And how did you came about to do real estate, and when and where? So let's start there.
Wow, that's a deep question. So I am a wife and a mother, and we live in the mid-Michigan area. How did I come to do real estate is a very deep question. Honestly, I think real estate, God really put it on my heart from a long time ago. I was raised by a single mom who still to this day, has never owned a home. So growing up as a kid, I think we were trying to do the math the other day. I think we moved, by the time I graduated high school, we had moved like 24 times. And so a home was like, it was a big deal, right? It was something that I dreamt about for forever. So I think that real estate was something that was just kind of there. You know, I went about my day. I got my college degree, went into business, went into banking, loved networking with people, loved, helping people, but always really thought about real estate. I didn't know if it was like the HGTV shows that really made me think of it, or if I really thought that I would do good at it. But anyway, so coming up on 2 years ago, I got my real estate license, and it was after actually a really, really difficult time in our life. Actually, we had adopted a little boy, and the adoption got interrupted. He was placed back in a home with his aunt, and I was kind of left there going, what's next? I had left my corporate career for being at home with our kids at that time for a few years, and just kind of felt like life had fell apart at that time. And so I was really doing some soul searching. And we were talking about this. It's really not that exciting, which sounds ridiculous, but I was on the treadmill one day and just felt like this overwhelming, almost like a visualness to like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And so it was real estate, but it was more than that. It was, how do I do real estate and then continue to give back?
That's awesome. So is that how real estate for a cause, or realtor for a cause, came about?
Yes. So I started, originally I started on a team, and it's something that I think most of us do when we first getting started in real estate. It's kind of a easy transition somewhat into real estate. So I started on a team. I learned a lot, kind of went through the ropes, and I was at a big box broker at that time, and we liked it there, but I knew that the guy that I was on a team with wanted to branch out and start his own brokerage. And I said, that sounds good, but I definitely still wanted to be under this umbrella, this concept of giving back. The one thing that I knew, even though I hadn't been in real estate, I knew that at some point in time, showing houses and selling houses, that might not be what gets you up in the morning, gets you excited. So I knew that I needed this cornerstone. I needed this community impact piece. And so when we branched off, we partnered and we did that for the last year. And and then
you were technically a part. So this is second year in real estate, and you're a part owner in a brokerage.
Yeah. So we had partnered in that brokerage because the brand and the concept were what I brought to the table. And in Michigan, you have to be real estate 3 years to have a broker's license. So it just made sense. Right. But what's funny is I felt like last July, I started getting antsy, where I'm like, there's got to be something kind of more to this. There was a lot of folks that had messaged me that I knew from living in other states that said, I really love real estate, but I don't know if I should jump in, or I've been in real estate and I love this concept. So I acknowledge, it just was kind of like God kept saying, hey, there's something different you're supposed to be doing. And I felt kind of uneasy on the fact that I loved what I was doing. I love our brokerage, and we still do. We still have a great appreciation and respect for that brokerage that we help plant here. But I knew we wanted to expand, and we wanted our business to look a little bit different. And so that's when I started seeing you and I started seeing eXp, and I started kind of picking apart, is this kind of the avenue that we should be going?
Yeah. So how, I guess at what point did you start thinking eXp, and why did it appeal to you versus, because you already at this point, you own your own brokerage with a team of how many agents at that time?
I don't know how many there were at the time. I know when we moved over, we didn't have that many, but now the brokerage has about 20 agents. And
it's a profitable, you're doing good. You had production personally last year. So at what point and why, I guess, would you think even the idea of eXp when everything is working just fine in your own brokerage?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of notorious for this. I'll be honest. When I get to that place where I've achieved these goals, then I start going, okay, what's next? Like what's next?
Same here. That's gonna be good enough. What's next?
Exactly. So I'm pretty notorious for that. Which definitely makes people around me uneasy. My husband, bless his heart, after, 16, 17 years together, he's like, he knows this is what happens. But, when this concept was something that came to me, it was never, I never felt like it was just for me or just for my community. It was always something that I wanted to expand. It was always something that I wanted to help others be able to do similar platforms.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, the last year we looked at, is that something we theoretically can do, is one. And the red tape to get a broker in every state or each community, especially even just in Michigan alone, to me, it just sounds bad. You kind of pick what in your wheelhouse is doable. Well, all that operation stuff, it just wasn't in my wheelhouse. It's just not. I didn't want to have to go through that. eXp already had a platform in place where I could just plug and play, where I could take what I already knew, what already allowed me, first full year of real estate to do 50 plus transactions and over 10 million in volume, and I could apply it. And now I can teach other people to do it. Right. So why would I reinvent the wheel when eXp's already done it and they're doing a great job of it? But on a personal side, because there's two pieces to this, right? That's the piece that wanted to grow the concept.
Yeah.
But the other piece of it is personally for our livelihood. I know, if I'm just being brutally honest with myself, at some point, I'm not going to want to do 50 transactions every year. I'm not going to want to put in, 10 million plus of production every single year. So there's the philanthropist side of me, right? Yeah. And then there's the financial side of me. And just our own livelihood and our own aspirations of what our life's going to look like. And I would just be brutally honest. We got a little tiny taste of the last year, what it looked like and felt like to help run a brokerage. And it is daunting. It is exhausting. It is the weight that comes with it. And to be all fairness, it wasn't like we were doing that alone. We were a portion of that. We were half of that business. So it was not where I seen myself long term. So those were the two pieces that made me perk up to eXp. And I didn't come to eXp being like, this is going to answer all my prayers. I went to eXp saying, okay, let's figure out why this isn't going to work. Because that's just totally me. I'm like, this looks too good to be true. Let's pick it apart. Let's find out every reason under the sun to not like this company and not like this business model. And one of them that came up was actually the residual income, because you've got people that are, that have the negative Nancy or the pyramid scheme or whatever. And I just, as much as I sat on it and thought of all the negativity that could be said about it, I also thought people are already doing this. Like
I do the same thing. Like I'm not the kind that will jump headfirst into anything. Like even if I feel like if my gut feeling is telling me it's a great idea, I still like to research it. I need to think it through, and I have to sleep on it and dream on it and think on it and dwell on it. And, it takes me time to be like, yep, it's the right decision. I need to make it. When I make my decision, though, I'm ready. I'm full force, going forward. But it takes me a minute. So it took me probably 4 weeks to make this eXp decision, mostly because I just switched over to KW in February. And this was October. So it's only been like 8 months. And I'm like, I'm a loyal person. I'm not a job hopper. And really, that was my biggest part, is like, am I a job hopper now? What are my clients going to think? That one year in January, I'm real estate one. In February, I'm KW. And then in October, I'm eXp. Like, come on, girl, make up your mind. Like, I didn't want that mostly. And then, of course, I had all of those questions of like, oh, okay, what if it's a pyramid scheme? What if stocks are worth absolutely nothing? What if it's all going to fall apart? What if? So I went through all that. And then one morning, I swear to you, I just sat up in my bed and I'm like, even if all those things are true or become true down the road, I would be where I'm at right now because I don't have stocks.
Right.
I don't have revenue share.
Right. Well, and the piece of that for me, one, I'm a residual income junkie, and many people may snub their nose on it, but I left a corporate America job after being there for 10 plus years and had a very high ranking job. And I left to be at home with our kids for 3.5 years because I was so burnt out, and had watched us raise 2 kids that I barely got to see that were in daycare. When we were blessed enough to have a 3rd baby, I was like, I'm not letting this happen again. So I quit a very cushy job, a very great paying job, and stayed at home with our girls. But I also I'm very much a work person. So I went into network marketing, and that's what I did for 3.5 years. And you know what? I made close to the same salary on a monthly basis after I got going that I did in corporate America, and I was home with our babies. So I got nothing but love for my network marketers. For me, it wasn't a career. I knew it was a season of my life, but I think there's both to be had. I still have dear friends that are in network marketing. But there's a big difference here though, too. And I think that's the thing that not enough people look at. When I dissected eXp, this isn't a real estate company built on a network marketing platform. It's just not. Because
I love when people are like, all you guys do is recruit. And I'm like, okay, if that's all we did, then rev share would worth absolutely nothing, because revenue share means we have to make revenue. So there's actually something to be shared. So the goal here is to sell real estate. On top of it, yes, we have a good cut. We have a good cap. We get stocks. We get revenue share. So there's multiple ways of getting paid, but still your biggest chunk is going to be commissions.
Right. And like you said, if you peel back all those pieces of that onion and you say, well, one, I have such a hard time if somebody is a real go-getter, most of the time, those folks are bringing people into the brokerage. But as of right now, the only person profiting from that is the broker, right? So over and over again. Right. So if somebody's a naysayer on that piece, I just think, look around you, look at your current brokerage, right? That brokerage was manpowered by agents that are in that brokerage right now, and they're not making money for bringing that person on. Maybe they made a little bit of a bonus when they came, or they made a percentage off of each
Starbucks gift card.
Right. Or something like that. But okay, what happens when that person's a $10 million performer on year 2, and now you're not making squat off of it, right? But so pull that onion piece back. But the other thing is, if you just sheerly look at the accessibility, the access accessibility, and then the fees you pay, right? A $16,000 cap. One, most of my big box brokers here in town charge significantly more than that. Right? I'm paying for their overhead. I'm paying for their office that I'm not even sitting in because I'm out busting my butt to sell real estate, right? I'm not even benefiting from that office. And then on top of it, they typically are charging upwards. I mean, around here, I know it's not the truth everywhere, but anywhere from 5 on the low side, but typically 6 or 8% on a marketing fee. Like when we add that up, that doesn't cap. When you add that up, if you're going to be a $5 million or $10 million producer over the next year, do that math. Look at how much more you're paying your brokerage just for that marketing. And I mean, that was the one piece I can wrap my head around a cap because I have access to stuff. Okay, I can do that. My marketing piece, though, sometimes you're taking upwards of $1,000 off my deal because of marketing. For what? I'm buying my own signs. I'm buying my own cards, like that piece over time, especially when you become a top producer, it just really gets to you. You think, whose wallet am I padding here? Because it's not my future self. It's not, and I also think with my cornerstone, I think, gosh, I could have taken that amount of money and I could have donated that to a local charity or a local cause, and look at the impact I could have made instead of just, X amount of dollars going to the brokerage.
Yeah, same. I remember with real estate, I always had to pay 8.5%. And even though it doesn't sound like much, 8.5% will add up.
It's a lot.
When you do multiple transactions, you're talking money that in the end of the year, I could easily take my family on a spring break.
Easily.
I talked to an agent yesterday. Oh my gosh, she has tapped the fee she had paid in with all the agents I've ever talked to. She paid in $258,000 last year.
Wow. Yeah, we were on the high end, but not that high. But back to your 8%, that would have, on a $10 million year, that would have been $24,000 for just marketing, not your cap. So then you do your cap. If your cap is at 20, you're now at $44,000, and some brokerages are even running without a cap, so it's even more. So
yeah,
it's not chump change, and it can be used other places. And that was part of the eXp platform that, for me, I just thought, not only would it be worth it, because we're looking at growth. We want to grow with a team that wants to do exactly what my husband and I have done here from day one, which is, how can we improve the lives of the people in our community through these buying and selling transactions? How can we improve it? How can we leave people better than when we found them?
So how do we do that?
So what we do is we work closely with local charities. We obviously try to have a servant heart, and he talked to me the other day. I'm heading off to a food pantry, so we try to do as much as we can. And in all defense, I think a lot of realtors tend, ones that have long-term careers, they try to be a giving bunch, and they're involved in their community. But we had a handful of different charities over the years that we've just been part of that we really loved, and so we thought, there wouldn't be a better idea than, hey, every time we do a closing, let's systematically give back, and let's bring our clients into the fold of that. Let's make them involved and have them pick which charity. So we work closely with just a handful of local charities. And the reason we choose local is because there's people in our own backyard, even though we're in a decently affluent community, that struggle. Whether it's veterans, or it's folks that are in need of food or, shelter, or if it's, one of the charities we work with works closely with the families where their children are in hospitals for cancer treatments. So there's people in our own community that struggle. So the thing, and this isn't to bash anybody that watched it, please don't take it this way, but the thing that I always see time and time again is people are giving these big, huge checks each time to, a charity that might be national or it might be international, and that's great. But I'm like, I'm helping people find a home here in our community. So for me, I wanted that to impact the community. And so we just worked really hard to find a system that worked for us, and a system, between the charities and between the community on what made sense on how to work together. And it has paid handsomely, not just financially into our business, but more so it's filled our soul cup up. And I think that's the cup as a realtor. You really have to just keep filling, right? Because there's gotta be something beyond the paychecks, because as bad as it sounds, making really great income month after month or year after year, like you get numb to it.
Yeah.
So
and it also comes, the better the income is, the more stress it comes along with it. Like transactions are not easy, and real estate is very cutthroat, and it ends up being, no matter how thick-skinned you are and how you feel like you can handle any situation, it ends up being pretty hard on you. So eventually I think it was like year 6 or 7 for me, and I was like, okay, there has to be something else besides just chasing that next commission, that next transaction. And also you start over every month. Right. Every year, every month you start from zero. Where if you have a corporate
unemployed every time,
after every transaction, I'm unemployed again. Exactly. Right? To find the next job. So I love that you put a cost to it, because then you feel like if it's close to your heart, then you can go on forever. You have a reason to do it. So besides just, we work for money, of course, we have to chase that commission, but you're doing it for a good cause and a good reason behind it, not just the commission. Right. And then, so how can someone, this is going to be posted everywhere that I can think of, where we can talk to realtors. So if there's a realtor out there that maybe your idea sounds great to them, realtor for a cause, how can they get a hold of you? How can they partner with you? How can they do what you do in their own backyard, wherever they are at in this country?
Well, one, they can always reach out to me. I think my phone number is blasted all over, right? So
you want to share it really quick?
Yep, it's 319-329-6562. They can also email me just at cotibrownrealtor@gmail.com. So they can email me there as well. I'm on Facebook, so they can find me on there. I'm on Instagram. They can find me on there. but yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. There has to be something that was part of the other piece that's attractive for eXp is there's something beyond real estate, because I think that at times when you work for a big box broker, it's just sheerly real estate, real estate, real estate. And there's something more to it. You know, it was one thing to be able to take this concept and this platform and pour into our community. But now, you know, what eXp allows you to do is pour into other people in other places that may have, you know, a very similar or may have a very different dynamic than your community, but that you can help them to have a thriving business. You know, I've talked with a friend out in Florida, and I've talked with a friend in North Carolina and one in Iowa, and they have been huge supporters of our concept from day one. And now being able to share this with them and work alongside with them, you know, there's nothing else out there that allows us to do that. There's nothing.
And we can do it internationally as well, Canada, Australia, and England. So I'm excited that you can now take your local business, not only nationally, but internationally as well. Absolutely. And then we just heard in France and Germany is in the making. So that was before COVID. So I don't know if that set us back or not, but the goal was to have France and Germany open this year as well.
That'd be awesome. So yeah, I mean, the thing that there's so many facets of eXp that I enjoy now. And I think the interesting thing too is for anyone that looks at it, you know, for us, there's certain pieces of it that are more attractive than others, but all of it's attractive. You know, the other piece that I've been sharing with folks is, you know, we live in Michigan, we live here for family, but we're not going to live here forever. You know, but one of the greatest things about real estate we all learn is location, 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 right? So that's the beautiful thing about this is, one, now when I'm on vacation, I do have 100% access, but two, if, you know, or when I should say, when our girls are grown and we decide to relocate someplace south, I'm not starting over a whole new business. Yeah, I got to create a new local platform or local footprint, and I get that, but I'm not starting a whole new business. And in the meantime, if I have taken advantage of working alongside of people or sponsoring folks, mentoring to folks, I'm going to have that residual income. Whereas if I create a local team, I don't get to take them with me when I move south, you know? So there's just, I mean, there's so many facets of this platform. And again, that's what I choose to think of it as. I'm still me. We are still, you know, we are still the same concept. We are still the same, my husband and I are still the same working team. We're just utilizing a platform that's going to allow us to expand now, you know, and allow us to give more benefits to the people when we expand. You know, I had somebody asking me about the medical benefits the other day. We never could offer that before. Yeah. So there's just so much good to it. We finally got to a place where how could we not?
That's how I was. And actually this time was my husband, because just like you are, I get great ideas all the time. My husband is like, seriously, go stop it. You don't have time for that. Don't even look into it, yada, yada. This one was like, go. You have to do this, and you have to do this now before it's too late, before everybody's already at eXp, before you're going to be the last one on the bandwagon. It's like you are a trailblazer. You have to get into it. If it falls apart and if you were wrong, you tried.
Right. And I think even when that day comes, because I mean, after this stuff happens, I think we're gonna probably see some fallouts of some brokerages and some people making decisions to switch and stuff. I just don't think that there's ever going to be a bad time, because I can't imagine that there's ever going to be a time where people won't want more fluidness to their business to be able to expand, travel. You know, I know the average person now makes 5 moves in their life. So who's starting their real estate career right now in a place where maybe in a couple of years, they're going to want to move someplace else? Like there's just so much advantage on top of just the virtual support. It's unlike anything else.
So I'm so excited to have you with us. I'm so excited to call you a business partner and see where this one is going to go, to fun places. As soon as COVID is out, I'm excited to meet you finally in person, because even though we are only an hour drive, we never actually physically met, because this whole thing happened pretty much during COVID. So yeah, no driving to one another, but I'm excited to have you guys set everything up and you know, start this one with the ground running. I know you're going to be doing good. So what do you anticipate for production this year? I know with COVID and all that, it's kind of hard to anticipate, and then also making a switch to different brokerage. But I guess, what was your production last year? What are you anticipating this year?
Last year it was at 10.3, 10.4. So just over 10.
What's the average price range in your area?
About 200,000 is our average price.
Wow, that's a lot of transactions.
Yeah. So, I mean, this year I had set a goal of being at 13 million was my goal. And, you know, providing we're lifted still in this, this time frame, like in the next couple of weeks, I mean, that's still been my goal. Me personally, I've been very vocal on what I feel like is going to happen in the market. I know that there's a lot of people concerned. As of right now, personally, I'm not concerned. The last 5 recessionary times, 3 of them have actually increased home values. So, you know, they're not mutually exclusive to think of a downturn.
Well, now people have equity, where the last time when values went down, people had no equity on top of it because they bought it at a high. So I think the market is so different right now. I'm also not afraid. I feel like as soon as they release us, this is going to be madness. As long as the interest rates stay low and the banks are able to, you know, fund all the mortgages and not put up crazy criteria for people to apply. But yeah, I feel like the same. It's going to be a great year when they release it.
I just think it's going to be like having the legwork and the time, right? Because now it's, instead of doing 13 million in 12 months, it's going to be, okay, how do I do 13 million in 10 months? But yeah, and most of my clients that are still at a place where they're ready. And if anything, I think being cooped up is going to teach a lot of people if they really want to stay in their house or not. So
exactly. I feel like a lot of babies are going to be born
right
10 months from now. So for that reason, our divorce rate, it might affect our divorce rate. People might realize, oh, that I really don't like you.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. But I feel like, you know, as for the real estate, people always have to live somewhere. So
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there's so many silver linings to this right now, which I know we probably won't talk about until it's over, really, and then everybody goes, "Gosh, that, you know, that was nice." But if you think about, look how important everybody's home has become. Like your home, you know, our shelter in place has made it that our home is the most important material thing. And I say that to people all the time when I'm helping them. You know, what an honor it is to get to help you with the largest material purchase you'll ever make in your life. You know, that I don't take that responsibility lightly. But yeah, I just think it's really interesting. The home has become the center of what, you know, we hold valuable right now, I guess.
Yeah, it's our shelter. It's what keeps us safe. It's what keeps us together and healthy, hopefully. Everybody, so what are you most excited about? I guess what's next on the agenda, and what are you most excited about this switch?
I'm most excited about the ability to now help people do the exact same thing. You know, we could help people in our local area. Even an agent that came to us last year that was, you know, 40 minutes north of us. It was impossible for us to really help him unless he came to our office. And so to try to wrap your arms around even folks that are in Michigan that want to do this, you know, I think there's so many communities that would love to be the realtor in their community and their center of influence that does a very similar platform to this. And now we can actually work alongside of those people. And, you know, truth be told, I helped folks as much as I could before. But the problem is, you know, when you're running your own real estate business and then you try to, you know, pour into other people, at some point it's your time is your money. So there was only so much time that I could give away to those folks. Whereas now you can grow with them. And I was never able to do that before. So I'm the most excited about that piece. I'm the most excited about seeing in a year or 2 years or whatever, what impact that creates in other communities just like ours. Last year, you know, as just a small local team, there was over $40,000 poured back into our community. And I just think, gosh, if that's what, you know, if that's what 20 people, you know, can do, and some of those folks were even brand new to our team, so they didn't even, you know, maybe contribute to those numbers last year. But if that's what a handful of people can do in our local community, I just get so excited to think what will happen when I'm working alongside of somebody, you know, that has a group of folks in Florida that's doing the same thing, in North Carolina and California, and to be able to look nationwide and say, you know, as realtors for a cause, this is what we were able to accomplish. And because of eXp, because we wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for this platform.
So if somebody wants to do what you do, they would join you at eXp and you would be their mentor, their coach. You would teach them everything of what you do here locally and how you set it all up. They would be able to choose their own cause, correct?
Absolutely.
Their own organization and how they want to do it. and they could be a member with you of Realtor of a Cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Because every community is different. So, you know, I think as agents, we really get to know our communities inside and out. And, you know, some of the business piece of it is the piece that I love to share. And I think that that's the piece that gets people excited that, oh my gosh, I can pour into my community. I can make my marketing dollars essentially zero and instead take that and make it impact dollars. I can have this tax advantage. Like there's so much good that comes out of doing good. And yes, like they would partner right with us. We would walk them right through the steps of this is how you set it up. And these are the, this is the next step. These are what you need to look for and who to call. And we're excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm going to share your information when we make this post. And then just everybody, if you're listening right now or you're watching it, because this is live right now, but it's going to be just out there forever. Don't hesitate, reach out to Coti Brown. You can find her on Instagram, on Facebook. Her email address is cotibrownrealtor@gmail.com. And feel free to ask her the questions that, you know, if real estate for a cause or realtor for a cause is something that you want to do, she is the best one to help you set that up in your neck of the woods. And we would love you to partner with us here at eXp. Coti is a business partner of mine. I am here to help you with whatever you need help. So if you need help on the social media and the real estate, of course, I'm here. My training, my coaching, my mentoring, just like Coti's, it's free to everybody that's partnered with us here at eXp. And I can't wait just to see how many people we can impact on this globe.
I know. We're excited. We're very excited.
That's going to be so awesome. So your head is probably spinning right now because you guys are just official today, correct?
Yeah. Well, I think it might have been Friday. I don't remember. All I know is when you said, let's do a live video, I was like, of course we're going to do this during quarantine when I haven't had a haircut and color in like a month.
Right.
Fantastic.
I'm not putting on anymore. Two colors are coming out.
So it's like, do I get to wear a hat or what can I do to not show that?
Exactly. Who cares? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to say, yes, we still get judged by our looks and image and all that in real life, even though we all told and raised, don't judge the book by the cover. But the truth is, you might never read the content if the cover is not looking good and appetizing to you. That's just the truth. So I know where you're coming from. I looked a little hideous this morning and I went as far as flipping my hair to the other side and putting makeup on, and now I feel like a brand new woman.
You look like a brand new woman. So
yeah, like a brand new woman. So I'm so excited. Welcome to eXp. I just know you're going to be an amazing business partner, and I cannot wait to see where you're going to take your Realtor for a Cause, because it is an amazing opportunity around the globe to help everyone to help in their own communities. And since you already have the path figured out and you can help and coach and mentor and show your systems to them so they can set it up in their neck of the woods, everybody wins. So I'm just excited to have you with us.
We are very excited. We're ready for shelter in place to be lifted so we can get out there and help people.
I know. When is that going to happen?
You know, hopefully at the end of next week.
Oh, really? Oh, God. I haven't done the news in a while.
April 30th, I think, and I hope. But I actually just had that as a poll on Instagram and Facebook asking if people thought it was going to be extended or if they thought it was going to be lifted. So far, everybody thinks it's going to be extended. I'm still holding to faith that it's going to be lifted a little bit.
Awesome.
At least for us as agents. I mean, I think that being able to get people to start moving.
I don't need to make it essential. Like, it's so hard I mean, yes, we can improvise, but I'm selling homes to people sight unseen.
I know.
And in the past, I would recommend you not to do that.
Right.
And now that's the only option.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are at home, and that's what a lot of folks are doing right now is looking at houses and getting their house ready to list. So we're ready to hit the ground running.
Yes, we are too. Well, excited. Let us know if we can help you with anything. I know you have a lot of work on your hands right now, setting all the platforms and getting access to everything, and building your organization here at eXp. So I'm very excited for you to join us. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you. I appreciate it jumping on here. Yeah. I didn't realize we were live until you said that. I thought we were recording. So I'm glad you didn't tell me till the end. Good. Well, it was fed over live. I'm not sure if it's actually worked. This is the very first time I did it from here. So we'll find out, but it is recorded. So I'm going to download it from here and then share it with you so you can share it as well. And again, welcome to eXp. Thank you. Okay. All right. Bye. So that was it.